Are you ready, Leafs Nation? Big moves are on the horizon as GM Brad Treliving drops hints about the kind of player he's hunting for ahead of the trade deadline. With rumors swirling and the pressure mounting, will Treliving find the missing piece to elevate the Maple Leafs to new heights? Stick around to discover the latest inside scoop that could reshape our roster. Brad Treliving dropped some intriguing hints this week about what the Toronto Maple Leafs might be looking to do before the March 7 trade deadline. As the general manager, he's under pressure to make a move that could bolster the team's chances in the playoffs, and fans are buzzing about who could potentially come to Toronto. Treliving's comments were clear. He's not in the market for a center better than Auston Matthews or John Tavares. Instead, he's focusing on acquiring a third-line pivot who can contribute offensively, play well on special teams, and bring a physical edge to the game. This makes sense, considering the depth issues that have plagued the Leafs in past playoff runs. Now, while the names floating around, like Yanni Gourde and Chris Kreider, definitely add some offensive flair, the cost might be prohibitive for Toronto. We're not eager to mortgage the future for a short-term fix. Treliving knows he has to be prudent, so he's looking at players like Trent Frederic, Ryan Donato, and Christian Dvorak. These players may not have the star power of Matthews or Tavares, but they can fulfill specific roles that the team desperately needs. Frederic from Boston is intriguing. He had a breakout year last season and brings a physical presence that could complement speedy wingers. Can you imagine him teaming up with Bobby McMann? That could be a formidable duo. Then there's Yanni Gourde. He's been linked to the Leafs all season long. Yes, he might not fit the typical mold of a Treliving player in terms of size, but his relentless forechecking and two-way game could make a significant difference. Plus, let's not forget he's a two-time Stanley Cup champion. Ryan Donato may fly under the radar, but he's a skilled offensive player who provides solid two-way play at a reasonable price. He's an unrestricted free agent after this season, which might make him a low-risk, high-reward option. It's a route that could mirror the success we saw with Noel Acciari last year, when he contributed alongside Ryan O'Reilly. Now, Dvorak is another name that stands out. If Treliving could persuade Montreal to retain some salary, we could see a player who averages around 16 goals and boasts a face-off win percentage nearing 53% over nearly a decade in the NHL. That's the kind of savvy move that could pay dividends, especially with the playoffs on the horizon. Treliving is clearly aware of the need to enhance the team without overextending the budget or disrupting the chemistry that's been built. It's a fine line to walk, and as a passionate fan, I'm eager to see how he navigates this landscape. Will he pull the trigger on a deal that could elevate the Leafs' chances? Or will he hold firm and play it safe? Fans are hungry for action, myself included. We've witnessed this team fall short in the postseason too many times. The stakes are high, and Treliving's next moves could define the season. Do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, we need to strengthen our depth. On the other, we don't want to give up too much in the process. Mitch Marner's recent comments following the Toronto Maple Leafs' disappointing 3-0 loss to the Vancouver Canucks have set off quite a discussion among fans. Alone on an island in terms of sentiment, Marner expressed that he liked how the team played and believed they performed well. Now, let me take a moment to unpack that. It's hard to reconcile those words with the reality of the game, especially when so many of us felt the sting of that defeat. When the rest of the team seemed to recognize the glaring issues on the ice, Marner's stance felt like a disconnect. Elliotte Friedman, the well-respected NHL insider, has put forth an interesting theory regarding Marner's comments. He suggested that this might be a personal defense mechanism for Marner, a way to cope with the negativity that surrounds the team when things go awry. It's intriguing, isn't it? Instead of simply acknowledging a poor performance, Marner seems to be trying to spin a narrative that might help him, and perhaps the team, weather the storm. Friedman's comparison of Marner's mindset to someone who possesses a fragile confidence resonates with many fans. He recounted an old story about golfer Mike Weir, illustrating how some athletes handle tough situations with a particular mental approach. It makes you wonder if Marner is attempting to protect his own psyche, if he believes that by focusing on the positives, he can somehow will the team into playing better. But here's the kicker. Does that strategy actually help the team? Because, from where I sit, it feels like a missed opportunity to own up to the mistakes and learn from them. Fans are frustrated, no doubt about it. Many of us wish Marner would just come out and admit that the team, including himself, had a bad game. How can we look forward to improvement when the issues aren't even acknowledged? Ignoring the problem feels like putting a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. If the team can't recognize their shortcomings, how are they supposed to address them? Honestly, I'm torn on this. On one hand, I understand the desire to maintain a positive outlook. On the other, I think fans crave authenticity. It's about balance, right? Acknowledging the reality of a bad game doesn't mean you're giving up hope. It means you're facing the truth head-on, and that's what we all want to see from our players. Marner's approach might be intended to shield the team from external criticism, but it also inadvertently fuels the fire of discontent among fans. We want to rally behind our team, but it's hard to do that when it feels like there's a lack of accountability. So, do you think this was the best decision for Marner to make? I genuinely want to hear what you have to say. As we look ahead, we have to consider how these dynamics will impact the team's future. If Marner continues to approach losses with this defensive mindset, it could hinder the team's growth. We all want to see the Leafs succeed, and that means being honest about what's happening on the ice. Will acknowledging the problems lead to better performances down the line? I believe so, and I think most of us would agree. So, what do you think? How can the Leafs turn this around? I want to hear your opinions down below. Let's spark a conversation about what Marner's comments mean for the team and how we can all come together as fans to support the Leafs through thick and thin. And remember, if you're passionate about the Toronto Maple Leafs and want to stay connected to all the latest updates, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this community strong. And don't forget to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. We're in this together, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts.